My name is Guthrie Collin. I am teaching programming and algorithms in Python, which is the second level programming course for Python students. When I first started using AI, I did a few things to make sure that students were learning with these tools. First, I let them use the tools. Second, I engaged with them in class to make sure they were understanding the content in the live, in-person world. Third, from the beginning of the class, I told them they would have to take a final exam that was handwritten without the use of LLMs. I had many students tell me they were very specific on making sure they wrote the code themselves. Even if the LLM got them the start, they wanted to know how because they knew they would have to know how. As an educator, I just started trying things out. I tried it out for creating notes for the students. I tried it out for feedback on my lectures. I tried it out on feedbacks on my assessments and assignments. As I went on, I realized that as a practice, I need to become more formal in how I was using the large language models. That meant keeping track of the prompts I was using, keeping note of what prompts worked and what didn't, and also evaluating how well the large language model did on certain tasks. It helped me realize that I needed to drive a lot more participation with the students. I actually leaned into the Learning Science Lab's content on getting engagement from students, and I combined that with the LLM suggestions to really transform the second half of my class, which has been wonderful for the students. I see higher engagement, more hands raised, more of the students participating in the content. What occurred as I was working through the practice of using LLMs as an evaluator of my practice is I realized I had to give it more context that used to be in my mind when I was building content. And being forced to explain the LLM like you would a more naive human forced me to be a better preparer of educational content because I was being more explicit and I was helping myself actually understand what is my goal. Every time I go to build whatever the content is, a lecture, an exercise, a final exam, I make sure I write down specifically what is my objective, what's the sequence, and that's made me a better teacher all over. What I'm already seeing being part of industry is that LLMs are going to be part of the business process when all these students graduate within the next 2 years. Put yourself in roles in industry 5 years down the line so you understand how LLMs will show up in the industry environment. Because if you prepare students for that environment, which is part of the role, you are doing them a great service as an educator.